Remember when everyone was talking about how bad the 2024 draft class was going to be? Well, I'm starting to think that they were right because we haven't seen anything from this new generation of rookie players. Now, let me make it very clear. I understand it's the start of the season and I am overreacting to everything, and some of these players can turn things around easily or get more minutes, which, trust me, is one thing that we are going to get into here in a bit. But I also think it's important that I say that if you watch my channel, you would know that I was one of the people who was defending these rookies. I always think it's very interesting how people are able to judge players so early on, like before they even go play a real game, whether it's preseason or the actual NBA season. It's like, how do you know that Zachary Ricochet is going to be bad? Like, you know what I mean? I know that you can have a feeling and you can watch his games overseas, even though it's a completely different game over there. Like, you can have the hint, but to say that the entire draft class is going to be bad, I never buy that. But I guess we could start with this graphic, which was the actual reason as to why I wanted to make this video, because I didn't really realize how bad these guys were playing. Zachary Ricochet, the #1 pick to the Atlanta Hawks, has basically been a non-factor at all. In any other draft that's at least decent, we would be seeing this Atlanta Hawks team and their #1 pick and say, holy shit, maybe they can flip things around and be a contender in a couple of years. Especially seeing them kind of reset their team by trading DeJounte Murray, and now they have Jalen Johnson, who's like a rising star. I mean, this is supposed to be a very exciting and fun time for them, but instead they have an absolute bust. And the same thing goes for Alex Sarr. I mean, the Wizards are another team who it's like people are more excited about Bub Carrington or Kool-Aid. Like, there are more players on the Wizards that people are more excited for and have more hope in than their #2 pick. Like, that is just insane. And another reason why I don't have that much hope for these like top picks in Zachary Ricochet and Alex Sarr is specifically because of this quote right here, where Zachary Ricochet said, "Back in France, I was super athletic. Now I'm just a regular dude." Like, bro, are you... what? Who says that shit? As the #1 pick in the NBA draft, who is out here saying, I am just a regular dude, I can't even play like how I was in France? That is insane. But I will say, things start to change a little bit when you go lower on this graphic over to like Reed Shepherd or Mattis Buzelis or, you know, Rob Dillingham, who's someone else I was very high on, where it's just like they're not really getting the playing time, okay? I know I'm going to be talking about a lot of players in this draft and saying that the draft class overall is bad, but these are guys who we haven't really even gotten to see whether or not they would be able to perform in the NBA or whether or not they are actually good players and could win Rookie of the Year. Reed Shepherd was someone who was getting like Steph Curry comparisons, which yes is ridiculous, but he was very exciting to watch. Was he really good in his first couple NBA games? No, he wasn't, you know, showing out like he was in the preseason or summer league by any means, but I'm pretty sure if he got some good minutes, even if it was like closing minutes, he would at least be able to average 10 points in the NBA so far. I don't know if that's a hot take by any means, but for Reed Shepherd specifically and the Houston Rockets, like, I understand, I guess, them not playing him as much. That team is pushing for the playoffs. They are not fucking around anymore. They're not really trying to develop young players as much as they were maybe a couple of years ago. And so Reed Shepherd is kind of stuck behind a lot of talent. So, you know, as frustrating as it is if you're a huge Reed Shepherd fan or if you want to see him grow and develop, that is kind of a good situation to be in if you're a Rockets fan overall, which is completely different than the situation for Mattis Buzelis. I made a video talking about the Chicago Bulls, saying how bad they're going to be this year and how they should just tank to get Cooper Flagg. But one of the very few highlights that I had about that team was Mattis Buzelis and how good he was looking and how much fun he was going to be to watch. The Bulls aren't letting him even sniff the court. Like, it is actually disgusting for a team that is this bad to not let their rookie play. Oh my God, it's just so frustrating, because this team isn't good. They're actually terrible, but Billy Donovan is out here saying that Mattis still needs to earn his spot on the roster. Like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I don't care. I don't care if he, you know, just came out of college and wants to be, like, what kind of logic are we even using here? Your team is ass. Sorry, let me just bring myself down. It's just that, you know, I kind of had him selected as my Rookie of the Year pick, and now I look kind of, you know, a little bit ridiculous there. And then there's Rob Dillingham, who, like, I was also very excited this year to watch and, you know, see his development. And when the Spurs drafted him, I was over the moon. I was so excited to see Rob Dillingham and Victor Wembanyama play together. And then he got same day, same draft, traded to the fucking Timberwolves, a team where, you know, they're obviously not going to develop anyone young either. They're a contending team. They're a Western Conference Finals team. There's nothing for them to even, you know, work on for him. So he's obviously not going to get the playing time as well. It is genuinely frustrating to see all of this talent, or at least potential talent just kind of sit there on the bench and not do anything, which then leads us to have Jalen Wells as the scoring leader for the 2024 draft class. And let me make it very clear, that is not a diss towards Jalen Wells. I want to talk a little bit about his game here in a second, but to have the 39th overall pick be the scoring leader for this draft, and it's not like he's putting up 20 points a night. It's not like he's putting up, 15 even. He's averaging fucking 10 points. Once again, I know it's early in the season, but the idea of a 10 point per game scorer, 38th overall pick, winning rookie of the year is actually so funny to me. Like, that is actually hilarious, and I think would break the NBA. But even if he won it, Jalen Wells has been fun to watch. Defensively, he was really good up against Tyrese Maxey in their game against the Sixers, and he has just been, just like a solid player by any means. Am I gonna sit here and say that he's of, rookie Donovan Mitchell? Like, I'm not gonna really compare him to anyone or say that he's like out of this world, but I mean, yeah, he's leading in points, I guess. Now, in that graphic that I brought up during the intro, you might see at the bottom that it says this is the first time in NBA history where 0 rookies average 10 points per game throughout 3 team games. And even though we are dealing with an insanely small sample size now when I'm making this video, we've only played, 7, 8 games, it's still kind of absurd how many players don't average 10 plus points. This graph right here shows us the leading rookies in points per game. As you can see, I'm sorting it through points here. Jalen Wells is number 1 with 10.3 per game. Alex Sarr is getting there. I mean, you do see some players averaging 9.2, 9.1, whatever it is. But when I went back to look at the last 10 years of draft classes, it is kind of absurd how bad these guys are in comparison. Once again, I need to make it insanely clear that I know this is a small sample size. I am not judging these players solely off of their last 7 games. I know that we can look back when the season is over and I can look like a complete dork. So last year, we obviously had the Victor Wembanyama draft that we all know and love, where Victor averaged 21 points and a handful of players averaged well above 10. You then go back another year and you see, Paolo Banchero averaging 20 points, another handful of players that averaged well over 10 points. And you see this to be a common theme. This is 2021 where, you didn't really get a player to average 20, but you had a hell lot of players averaging over 10. But you see this theme where it's not uncommon for a player to have 20 plus points. Here's the 2020 draft as well. We have Ant, who, we can just bump that up to 20, you might as well. And it just continues. Zion Williamson, 22 points with, John Morant averaging 17. You then go back another year, 21 points for Luka with Trae Young averaging 19. But it's just kind of interesting to go back and look at these numbers from previous drafts and really seeing in comparison that we don't have a standout player so far from this year's draft. So yes, we can all appreciate Jalen Wells' game, but other than him, there's really no rookies that I'm excited about or really thinking to myself damn, they are a huge, future piece. That being said, let me know what you guys think about the 2024 draft class down in the comments below. I read and respond to everyone. And while you're down there, if you can hit the like and subscribe button, it would help out the channel a ton. And sorry, there's actually one more thing that I completely forgot to say that's arguably the most important part of this video. And that's the fact that if Devin Carter was healthy, he would easily be rookie of the year. All right, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Also, I do really like Dalton Connect's game. This video isn't me saying that I hate everyone in this draft class. There are some players that I do like and enjoy watching. No one is just blowing anything out of the water by any means, and it is overall a weak draft class. Okay, yeah, I'm done. All right, see you guys in the next one. Later.